It is 12:59. Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica. After a 9-week layoff due to a broken bone in his foot, Derrick Henry was cleared to return to practice at St. Thomas Sports Park on Wednesday, and that he did. He remains on injured reserve, now entering a 21-day period where he can be elevated to the active roster. ESPN's Diana Rossini joined the Buck Rising show about an hour ago, saying that Derrick Henry likely will not play against the Houston Texans on Sunday on the road in the regular season finale, where if the Titans win, they will clinch the 1 seed in the AFC. Titans also made a couple of transactions today, signing defensive back Chris Jones and linebacker Joe Jones to the practice squad. Both players were waived from the active roster just a couple of days ago. Also around the NFL, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have officially released wide receiver Antonio Brown. And it wasn't pretty, but the Vols got it done in overtime against a shorthanded Ole Miss team on Wednesday, winning 66-60 and improving to 10-3.
For the lead, gun, money! Vescovi knew that was going in when it left his hand.
Big shot, huge shot.
Santiago Vescovi with 17 points. 12 of them came in the final 3.5 minutes of regulation and overtime. The Vols have their first SEC win. They're heading to LSU on Saturday. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
A couple times in my car on the way here this morning. Woo! When somebody almost hit me.
Oh, I was wondering where you go with that. Not you, Mickey. You wouldn't yell anything explicative to anybody.
He decided to make his own lane between two other lanes of traffic this morning.
On purpose, or was it an accident?
No, on purpose.
Okay. He didn't skid. You. Oh, he was like, get out of my way. Oh, he was one that. And you. Wait, guess what you did? You got out of his way. I would have. Yeah. Oh, somebody was coming to me just like that, towards me, just zigzagging all over the place because they were having fun. It wasn't like it's slick. They like big old 4Runner, big tires. Like, what is this? I'm going to die on my way to work, going down Franklin Road because this guy's coming out of his house just going all over the place. So I just easily got over to the far as I could go and just kept on chug-a-lugging like a turtle. Yep. Stay over there, please. Thank you. I just kept my eyes straight and said, I'm not going to look and see if he hits me, because if he hits me, I'm done. Because I'm on the driver's side.
Yeah, that'd be a tough one. You're in the line.
Yeah.
Somebody's like, how'd you get here? Like, I was driving in a blizzard to talk about Derrick Henry's foot, got hit by a jackass.
There it is.
Nah, that's
a little bit of road rage.
That is not what
Just
I would have been
left
saying. I would have been like, why am I on the road going to work? Yeah, that's what I would have been saying.
We're live and in person, so if you're at home listening, that's good. If you're at work listening, hey, man, be careful going home. And whatever you're doing today, appreciate you spending part of your time with us. We'll be here until 3, and then the 3HL crew will get you the rest of the way. Well, if you're going home, or if you're already home, they'll just be hanging out with you like we are today. Derrick Henry did practice yesterday, and really the biggest story around here was that he hit the designated for return list. All these national people like Diana Rossini, Buck, as we were walking out, Buck, I know he talks to Diana some, and she's been on his show, and it was today again, and had basically said, her thought is he's not going to play. And you and I were talking about this a couple of days ago, and you said, I certainly don't think he's going to play in this game.
Yeah, selfishly as a fan, I want him to get 1,000 yards because if you look at the big picture over legacy, when you're talking about Hall of Fame player, you just don't want to have that hiccup on there. Granted, I know it's 900-something yards, but he only played 8 games, but people not going to look at that. But that was as a fan. But if you're playing the safe side, and that's what I said yesterday, if you're the organization, it's probably no question in mind that you know, hey, if we win, we get first place, and we could do it without them. Not to put anything away from the Texans. They already beat you once, so you're going to get their best. You're going to get, the best out of your own team. There's no motivation even needed there. I think you can still beat them without them. And you beat other teams without them, so how about give them another week or two, and there you go. So, yeah.
All they got to do is win. I know this. All they got to do is win an NFL game, but all they got to do is win this
game, it's worth 2 wins. It gets them a whole week off. All they got to do is win this, and then the King does get those 2 more weeks or week and a half, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Of whatever his practice load looks like versus like being at the bottom of a pile getting your foot
but
twisted.
I tell you, he looked good yesterday. I know we only saw like individual work, but he looked good. He looked really good.
Can you help us regular folks? Because I think regular people just look and go, hey, look, he ran. Hey, look, they pissed him the ball, and he ran around the corner. Look, he stepped over those tackling dummies. That's what we see.
Yeah.
You're looking at things like, okay, if I'm about to play this guy, I'm trying to identify any kind of weaknesses or anything that looks off. It was his right foot. How do you look at things to see if they move differently, or if maybe they're not lifting his leg all the way, or not straightening something, or bending something?
It's kind of hard. I feel like I'm always studying players when I look at the injury reports and see how they're looking in warm-ups and see if they're still favoring it. And then you use that kind of as a play in the game to let them know that, I see you limping. Yeah, make it still in their brain, that it's still there. And, hey, man, watch out. Watch out now. You came and just made a good block on me. But I saw your knee is still hurt. So, when you're watching a guy, and I'm not an expert and definitely not a doctor, but I feel like I have good eye for what you're looking for. With Henry in this time, I didn't really see a lot at all. Now, he wasn't planning all hard and in a game. You can't duplicate any of that. Felt like he was kind of keeping his foot stiff at times, but you couldn't see it by the naked eye. It could be something that he's doing on his own and maybe not even know he's doing it. So there was nothing. When I say he looked really good, he looked pretty good. And I'm talking about him just as a runner in period, not the injury. He looked more, let's say, looser than he had been before. And I say that is because he just looked smoother. He didn't look like a massive human being that was a little stiff. He looked looser. He looked massive, but still looser. So maybe, and a lot of guys try to parlay this, maybe he got to work on some things maybe that he wouldn't be working on during the season, and maybe that can benefit him after having this injury. So he looked quick. He looked smooth. I mean, man, I was thoroughly impressed, to be honest. And he was nowhere near going full clip. Like when we were watching Julio Jones run, you could still see a look at him. You never got to see Henry go full bore, like even at practice speed, which is still pretty fast. But you got to see he's not afraid to put his foot in the ground and plant and go. He wasn't going at warp speed, if you want to call it that.
Right.
But he was going at a nice clip, 60, 70%, testing it out, feeling it out. But he looked like, I don't think I'm going to have any issues. So when I saw him every time, I never got to see him go full blast because it's only individuals. At least in Julio's, we got to see him run routes. So he's going kind of, as fast as he wanted to go, maybe at least 85, 90. You never saw that in Henry. So that made me think that they already told him that he's probably not going to play. We're just going to fill this out. And they can talk about how they're going to fill it out every day. But, man, if he plays, I'll be elated. I mean, so I just don't know if they're really at that point where they say, let's play him. I just don't know that. But as well as he looked.
I wonder if their mind is made up, like, hey, man, we don't have – you're not going to play this week. You're going to practice. Just get yourself – I wonder if there was any type of, well, let's just see how he looks. And if he looks okay, let's give him 5 to 10 carries or 5 to 10 plays. And if he gets it, he gets it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Or if that's one of those things where they just start the week and say, I don't care if he goes out there and runs better than he's ever run in his life. You're not playing. You're just going to go out there and get stretched up, work up a lather, get back into football shape as close as you can.
Right. Well, see, that's what we don't know is what he did actually in a really workload as far as how much did he practice.
Right.
We just saw individuals.
That's all we get to see.
Which is kind of still of a warm-up process here. We don't know how much he did plays, if any, at all. He could have just done 5 plays.
Yeah.
He could have done, 10 plays. He could have, over the course of the practice, and say, let's build on it each day. And then they say, okay, we want to see how your foot responds tomorrow. And then, okay, you had to ice just a little bit. No inflammation there. How's it feel? You feel comfortable? Oh, okay, let's go practice on the turf indoor tomorrow. Oh, that's the same turf that the Texans have. Let's see how you do there. Let's kind of turn it up a little bit more. See how you feel. and go through this process. That's why I was asking you yesterday, and nobody really knows the numbers, is when you come off this IR that he was on, maybe you were on it for only 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then you come back. How many guys actually play that first week? Or do they typically come back that second week? Because that first week is kind of filling out process to see how it responds, and they're not trying to rush guys back, especially with the depth they've had and how much success they've had at running back. Now, they're not the home run hitter as Henry, of course. Nobody's the king. So I think they feel like now at this point they can continue to manage through this and make sure he is, whether it's health, physical conditioning, body blows, just getting back into the flow, going into the meetings. We don't know how much he was going to the meetings. So all these things are factors, which we don't know any of the answers. We could talk about how they look. I mean, I think one week I said Julio looked pretty decent, and then he didn't go. So those things happen.
Right.
They say, well, you know what? We wanted to see how it goes, how his body responds. Guess what? We wanted to wait another week to put him out there because it's a soft tissue. So, they just want to see how it responds, and maybe they're looking at Henry the same way.
And the other thing, too, and you mentioned it just kind of casually there with Julio, like we watched videos that week, and you're like, he's not going super hard. And you showed me one particular play, like, okay, if he's going hard, this is what it would look like, and it doesn't look like that.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe at the end of the week, they were like, okay, you've practiced, 3 days, you just walked around. How do you feel? And maybe he said, it just ain't right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So a big test today for Derrick Henry, or anybody, has to be like, okay, you finally did some practice stuff yesterday. How do you feel today, right? Did it swell up? Does it hurt? How
much ever he practiced? Because before he even got out there, he was doing a lot of lateral planting and cutting and everything else, simulating practice, running through cones, doing high knees, planting. You could do all kind of things that they had him doing for rehab. I don't know what all they had him doing before he even got on the field. So now they say, okay, let's see what you look like with the equipment on. And knowing Henry, he might have had the shoulder pads and helmet on when he was doing the rehab. When you're out there doing the drills, when he first started to the point where he thought he could move around a lot more. So I don't know, running vertical and then running lateral, two different things that he's got to plan a lot harder, especially when you're a massive, big human being like him. It takes a lot of force and torque and everything else. So, I'm just thinking they're favoring not playing him if I was guessing. But me as a fan, I want him to play. I know a lot of people say, oh, it's just common sense. He shouldn't play. We're going to get number one. Well, we don't know if you're going to get number one.
Right.
And you don't know if you can protect him or not, whether he's going to play this week or next week. So I think they're preparing for him. Okay, they're never saying it, but he got to be ready to go next week just in case.
Does it? You played 10 years in the National Football League. When people say, like, well, he could get hurt. Well, couldn't anybody get hurt? It's a National Football League. Couldn't anybody get hurt all the time?
Well, yeah, you could, I could get hurt out slipping on this ice walking out the door.
100% I could get hurt.
So could Henry.
Yes.
Yeah, so anytime you touch the football field, that's just part of the game. I mean, you could get, and people could say, oh, just hold him off until 2 weeks until you got to play, if they get first seed. And he gets hurt in the game, then you can't say, well, see, they shouldn't have played him. Nah. Or they shouldn't have played him in this next game and he gets injured. It's a broken bone. So it's got plates and screws. Doesn't mean it won't get re-broken.
Right.
And by the way, I don't know. I'm sure they have better technology today. But I had a machine on my forearm every single day at night to speed up the healing.
Your battery-powered stem machine?
Yeah, I don't know about no battery. This thing was off the charts.
You had to plug into the Vol version for that.
Yeah, this was something different. This was a big machine that I had to sit on my arm, a big outside, to speed up the healing. Because I said, I'm playing. I'm not going to not play with a broken arm when I can put a plate over the plate over the plate. So
was that casted or just wrapped heavily?
No, it was a cast. It was a cast. And then the referees check and make sure you don't have anything illegal.
Okay.
And then I illegally put something on there.
Well, sure.
Yeah, but the staff did not see that.
After they checked it, then you might have.
Yeah, I had my own artillery.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I went to the military. And put it on there. In that first game, it still didn't help.
I can't imagine.
Man.
Can they do anything for pain like that with a broken bone? I know of Toradol and I know of different things. But you got a broken arm. Is there anything that can help that?
I don't know. I did
adrenaline.
Yeah, that's all I did. I didn't take any Toradol or anything. Nah, I don't know if you really can.
Has that tears in your eyes? A couple times
that
game
first
there?
hit. Yeah. It was. I Man, it hurt. When I put my arm out there and it said bow, and I just bow.
Oh, that hurt.
I bow. I felt like
my eyes
I felt
water.
like my arm fell off.
Yeah.
I got up and said, "Oh my gosh!"
Did anybody go at your arm? Grab
no,
your
well,
arm,
I'm
twist your arm?
freelancing, so I'm not,
Part
part of
pile, anything like, I'm gonna get down and grab this guy's arm. I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna dive and hit him right in the arm.
It's just one of those things. You forget that you're injured, and you keep putting your arm out there to do certain things, and then you pull it back like somebody fumbled. I'm gonna reach for it, and next thing my arm is caught. Oh no, let go, pull that thing out real fast. So it's just you get into the moment, you become, you forget about it because that's how you have to be until it actually gets hit. So. I mean, his is his foot, so man, and a running back. So I think position and where the injury is something that we're not playing, and thinking about more so than not. It's the running back. It's his foot.
His foot.
You know how many times, people reaching for his foot and ankle and knee? It's all connected. So, he's a running back. So that's almost impossible for them not to clip his foot.
We got to clip this segment. A shout out to everybody on Zone TV. Mandisa, the great singer, the American Idol singer, is in the Zone TV chat. She said she can hear us. Mandisa, we love hearing you sing. You need to call in one day and sing to us.
Oh, please do.
Yes, she's. You talk about a singer in a town of singers. There's a singer for you. Brendon Marsalo, he can't sing, but he's going to tell us all about college football. We will talk about that next. It is a snow day here on the Zone on Blaine and Mickey. Blaine and Mickey 104.5 The Zone. Tom Petty. Get you through a snowy day. It is still really coming down here at 10 Music Circle East at the home of this radio station. It is still really, really coming down outside. It has been a pretty steady blast of winter weather. So we went, within like 4 days of 75 degrees.
Crazy.
To 2 snowstorms.
Man.
2, not 1, 2.
Well, I get irritated because my allergies act up every time the weather changes drastically, whether it goes from 75 to all of a sudden then it's 35. What? I know instantly. I wake up and go, uh-oh, I got to go take some Zyrtec D. I'm super sensitive. My nose, I could sniff out anything, man. I was like, oh, man. So one nostril's always stopped up. So you just got to live that way. I was like, man, maybe I don't even need 2 nostrils. I just need 1.
You need some of that Afrin stuff. Remember that? Like you spray it up your nose and it's like, it's like just sending a winter wonderland up into your brain. You remember that stuff?
Yeah, that's
and they
why
tell you get hooked on it.
Yeah, that's why I don't do that.
I had a friend, they
Yeah, I
said.
said that, do that. I don't do that.
No Afrin?
It go up in my brain, and you never know what it may find up there and mess up. There's a lot of things to mess up there now.
I've been having a bunch of problems. My wife, I was like, hey, can you get me some Afrin? Like the old school. So she bought me like that, some new. It's like squirting fire and ice directly into your brain. I couldn't even think for 13 minutes after I used it.
Are you 13 minutes?
I looked at the clock, and 13 minutes later, I came to, and I had passed out.
Yeah.
I could breathe great, though.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa!
Man, every time I know I'm breathing out 2 nostrils, I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm getting a lot of oxygen to my body now. I feel really good.
Let's give some oxygen to Brendon Marsalo, who joins us now. Brandon, did you ever get hooked on Afrin in college? I had a friend who did. Did you ever have any problems with Afrin?
This, man.
Wow.
I know, man.
I'm not trying to call it like a bad time for you, a dark period or anything, but I had a college roommate who got hooked on Afrin. Did you ever go down that dark road?
I don't even, is that like allergy medicine?
I have no idea.
It was that stuff. It was like a snowplow for your sinuses. So it came in a plastic squirt bottle. It would last like 4 years in the bottle. And it was that thing where you get so stopped up, your head feels like a piece of concrete, and you could shoot this stuff up in there, and instantly, like you could hear angels singing. You could breathe, as Blaine said, out of both nostrils. It was magical. But they'd say, like, don't use more than 2 days in a row.
Whoa.
I had a friend who had
doing
like,
it 3, 4, 5 days in a row.
I had a buddy
man.
with like a 2-liter bottle of that stuff. He's a doctor now.
Oh, he's a doctor now.
That's a true story. All right, Brendon Marsalo, no problems in his history with Afrin abuse. That's good. College football for 24/7 Sports at B Marcello on Twitter. So I looked. Georgia now a 2.5-point favorite over Bama. Are you buying that? Because many people don't seem to be. Oh, it's up to 3 again. Okay.
Wow. I'm not a bettor because if I was, I'd
me
lose a lot
either.
of money. But I listen. Georgia should win this game. I mean, they should have won the SEC championship game. They're more talented. They're deeper. Problem is they're not as well coached as Nick Saban's crew. And the game plan defensively for Georgia going into that SEC championship game was just not great. And the people around that program told me as much afterward. And I would think that they have probably learned from their mistakes there with Dan Lanning and co. And they'll go into this game better prepared defensively and how to challenge Alabama's receivers at the point of attack rather than playing off of them a lot. Try to mess up that timing with Bryce Young between his receivers. And if that happens, Georgia should win this. I mean, remember, midway through that first quarter, it looked like Georgia was like in control. It seemed like they were marching up and down the field the way they wanted. And then they fumble, and then things kind of get out of hand, and Bryce Young starts hitting passes downfield. Listen, if Georgia, this is the most talented Georgia team Kirby Smart has had. It might be the most talented and deepest he'll ever have at Georgia. If he doesn't win it, this national championship, with that team against what might be the worst or second worst Alabama team in the national championship game under Nick Saban,
Don't say it, Brandon.
He'll never win it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Where are you on Stetson Bennett? Because there are still people out there saying, "Oh, you can't win with him. You can't do it. They're going to pay for this." Where are you on Stetson Bennett?
Listen, I've become a little bit of a believer of him more and more here in these last few weeks, especially against Michigan. But we'll see. He could revert back to that guy that just doesn't hit the passes as often and consistently as an elite quarterback should downfield. Against Michigan, he did. Those two 50-yarder passes he had against them were beautiful. That first one he made was the best pass I've seen from him in his career. Now, I haven't seen every pass, but I've seen most of them, and that was the best one I've seen in person or on TV. I suspect that if he plays like that again and he's consistent, they'll beat Alabama doing that. That's what was missing. As much as, the defense kind of just pooped the bed, so to speak, in the first half against Alabama, Stetson Bennett misfired on 3 critical passes in that game by my count, and a couple of them were downfield. If he hit a couple of those, which, by the way, the 2 of those were in the first half, that game would have been different. And that's as much as what's missing is the defense could be going wrong for them in that SEC championship game. And that's why elite quarterbacks win the national championships in this era. Not the elite defenses, the elite quarterbacks do. And the previous, I did the research on this. I did a column on this. The previous 5 quarterbacks to win the national championship, 4 of them were first-round draft picks. The other one was in the second round. And I can't remember how many of them won the Heisman Trophy. So, listen, Stetson Bennett is none of the above. So can Georgia win it by having an elite defense with a good to maybe great quarterback? Yeah, sure, especially against this Alabama team. But it would be breaking the mold of what we've seen recently in college football.
Man, good stuff. Brendon Marsalo, 24/7 Sports College Football reporter, joining us.
Well, Brandon, I'm really big on the mental aspect of the game, and I feel like it does have a lot of value. Where do you see that with Kirby Smart as well as the players from Georgia just not being able to get over the hurdle in an actual game to beat them? We just talked about they're more talented. They're just better coached. But how do you give over the coach being out-coached and the players mentally saying, we just never have beat them?
The Georgia players this week have been saying, no, it's not that. They're not in our head or whatever.
Yeah.
But they are. I mean, they has to be. Anybody who's competitive, even in everyday jobs, like I go against, dozens of other reporters every day trying to get scoops and better stories. And I get pissed off probably once every hour when I see something on Twitter or whatever that I didn't get. And you could bet, and it's in my head, and you could bet it's in the head of those players. They have not beaten Alabama, and especially for the guys who have been there for 4 or 5 years. So I think that it plays a big part in this game. And if it comes down to it, I think here's the thing. Don't you guys think that maybe if the game's late in the fourth quarter and Georgia's got the ball, don't you actually think that actually might favor Georgia? Because it's like, here we go. We're finally going to break this stupid curse against them. More so than, say, in the first quarter, the game's coming out. Don't you think they're a little bit more nervous and thinking Alabama's in their heads? But if the game is on the line in the fourth quarter and the offense has the ball for Georgia, I think that it might actually help motivate them. So, more to me, I want to see how this Georgia team comes out. How do they perform in the first quarter? Do they hold it together through the first quarter? Because if they don't, that shows to me more than anything that they're in their head.
I love it. We're on with Brendon Marsalo, National College Football reporter. I guess, naturally here, the Bama fans. Are they taking for granted this whole Saban era? I mean, because we're looking at it like, we just expect them to win. But, man, the Bama fans like, we know we're going to win. It is no doubt on it. They can't beat us. I mean, man, the Bama fans, they're taking a lot of this whole era of Saban for granted, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think Saban realizes that, too. That's why he went on that rant on his radio show a few weeks ago.
Oh,
I'm
really?
sure you guys heard it, saying, listen, he's pretty much telling the fans in no uncertain terms, you guys think this sucks right now? Wait till I leave.
He did not say that, did he?
No, I mean, that's what he said.
That's what he meant.
indirectly to me.
Okay.
That's what he meant. It's like, oh, you guys think this sucks that we have one loss right now and people think Georgia's going to beat the crap out of us in the SEC championship game? You think that's bad right now? Yeah. Do you not remember Mike Shula? Do you not remember DeBose? I mean, give me a break. I think so. And here's the thing. It's almost difficult to enjoy it because it's every single year. It's with something we've never seen before. It's incredible. It's really incredible what's going on right now.
I guess last thing for me, Brandon, that is, I know Kurt Herbstreit made some statements on air, but I wanted to get your feel for how you feel about the players and this, not playing in bowl games and everything else. Just kind of give us your overview on what you think about all of that.
Well, listen, anything the player wants to do that involves themselves, let them do it. That's their decision. I don't stand in the way of that, and I also don't I don't also understand people criticizing players for it if they decide to sit out and going, you don't love the game or whatever. That's complete BS. And it's not just Kirk Herbstreit who said that.
Right,
a lot of people have been saying that for quite a while now. And I think people are just frustrated because opt-outs are happening obviously much more often these last 2 to 3 years than it's ever happened before. But that's the new college football. College football will continue to evolve, and that's just what we're dealing with right now. And I think more so, we don't need to be looking to the players and blaming them. If you want to see these guys play, I think you need to look at the bowl system, the playoffs, and see how we could fix that. Because leave it up to the adults to fix that. That it's our fault. We messed that up, not the players. The players are adjusting and realizing they have more power, and if they don't want to do something, they don't have to do it anymore. So, if I was involved with the playoffs or the bowl, these are two things I'd be looking at. We need to, one, expand the playoff. I think everybody knows that. Expand it to 12. We also need to look at a pay-for-play participation for bowl games. So I'm saying within the bowl system, bowl games their payout to these teams, which can be like $2 to $6 million or more. Instead of paying the teams for going there, they need to pay the players. So take that money, spread it out among the players for playing in the game. This is the fee we give you for practicing for a full month coming here, for going to all of our events, for appearing in our brand name game that we're making money off of, and for traveling here and skipping Christmas and skipping the holidays with your family. Here's your paycheck for spending for a month's worth of work outside of your regular season and what you're committed to with your school. I think there's a way to do that and to figure that out and to make everybody happy. Maybe it would shrink the bowl system, but I don't necessarily know if that would be a bad thing or not. But make it more lucrative for players, whether it's a walk-on to a scholarship guy who's maybe a third or fourth round, maybe NFL draft pick who is thinking maybe I should stay and play or maybe I should just opt out. But if you say, hey, we'll pay you, $10,000 or something, maybe they just say, hey, listen, I'll go ahead and do it. Now, would it be worth it to them if they end up blowing their knee out? Probably not in hindsight, but at the time, that would probably be enticing enough for a lot of these guys to stick around and go, I'm going to play with my teammates. This game means a little bit more now that we've got some money and I'm getting paid for it for a month of work. And so I think that's two ways to do it. Expand the playoff, which is going to be done at some point, and then secondly, in these other bowl games outside the New Year's Six and playoff, pay the players.
Going with Brendon Marsalo, one of the best in the business, a national college football reporter.
Brandon, you mentioned the whole Nick Saban thing and Imagine While I'm Gone. Well, isn't this week his 15th anniversary since this odyssey started down in Alabama?
Yeah, it was 15 years ago, and I think I tweeted a picture out of him on his anniversary, and I said, college football chose its destructor 15 years ago today.
Yeah, they sure did.
It's incredible to think that he's been there for 15 years and Could you imagine? I mean, it won't happen. Who knows? I don't know. What if he was there 15 more years?
If anybody
85.
if anybody could do it, it would be him for sure.
Could you imagine him coaching for 15 more years and doubling this till the age of 85?
You just sent shudders down the spine of a fan of every other
yeah.
SEC team and college football team listening.
No one expects that. But what if he does? I mean, listen. Penn State, it's happened before. He could stick around. He is so accustomed to building a staff, dealing with turnover every year. He's getting enough players in there every year, so good, and getting good enough coaches. Why couldn't he, even 5 years from now, just go, I'm going to be a head coach and CEO type, but I'm not going to be as involved with the coaching stuff. But I could still probably win a national championship every 2 or 3 years still doing it this way, and I can coach till I'm 85. Do it like Joe Pa. Maybe he could do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks he's going to – just assumes he's going to retire in 5 years. What if he sticks around for 15? Seriously, what if he coaches till he's 85?
Ooh, man. Caleb Williams won't play until he's 85, but he's going to finish college somewhere else. Were you surprised that happened, and what are you hearing about where he might go?
Hey, sorry, guys. I lost you there for a second. My headphones went off.
Oh, that's okay. Caleb Williams, were you surprised to see him jump in the portal, and where do you think he might go?
No, not surprised. That had been rumored for 2-3 weeks, I think, from our OU site on 24/7 Sports. And I think it's just assumed he'll go to USC, follow Lincoln Riley there, because throughout the recruiting process, he and his family made it very clear that they wanted to go somewhere where he could be developed as a quarterback and be an NFL guy. And Lincoln Riley had done that with pretty much every single quarterback he has coached.
Yeah.
I think that that's just the spot that makes sense. And then meanwhile, UCLA has kind of jumped on the map for him, surprisingly. I don't know if that would work out the way maybe he thinks, and especially because they're about to lose their offensive coordinator to Ohio State as an offensive line coach. So I think he ends up being at USC. But no, it wasn't too surprising that he entered the portal. I guess people who have been following it really closely, especially the team site, writers and fans on those boards, they got the feeling this was going to happen. But for the general populace, it was certainly surprising this week.
Brendon Marsalo, our guest here on Blaine and Mickey.
Yeah, Brandon, I don't know if you guys talked about the expansion of playoff. Did y'all talk about that? No. Yes, I was wondering, what are your thoughts on expansion, 8 teams to maybe even 12 teams, or none at all? What are your thoughts?
Well, personally, I think it should go to 12. I think it will go to 12 at some point. Saturday, the commissioners plus Jack Swarbrick, the AD at Notre Dame, they'll meet in Indianapolis to discuss things, see if they can move forward with expanding the playoff before the end of this current contract, which ends at the 2025 regular season. I don't think they'll make a decision and say, hey, we're pushing it on to the management committee or whatever, that we're going to expand to 12 and it's going to be these automatic qualifiers and everything. I don't think they'll have that in place. I don't think they'll come to an agreement with that to push along. But I do think that it's very possible that they exit those meetings with, okay, this wasn't our deadline, but if we want it done before the end of this contract, we got to get it decided before this spring or something like that. I do think that that'll come out of that meeting Saturday. But the early feedback is not promising. George Kliavkoff, the commissioner at the Pac-12, has come out publicly and said it certainly doesn't sound like anything's really going to be hammered out there based off what he's been hearing from other commissioners. They can't agree and get on the same page with whether the Power 5 should all get automatic qualifiers or if it should be the top 6 conference champions in the rankings should get the automatic qualifiers. So it's a very stupid, to be honest, and these commissioners will even tell you this. It's kind of stupid what they're arguing over, but they're like, they got their feet buried in the sand. They don't want to move. It's pretty much the ACC and the Big Ten against the SEC.
Yeah.
And the Pac-12 is sitting out there kind of like, we're okay with anything. But the problem is, it's just those little stupid minute details. And then also, listen, I think Jim Delaney, the former Big Ten commissioner, he's still very much involved in all this in the background. I think he's got the ears of the Big Ten commissioner, Kevin Warren, and also the ACC. And there's just a lot of politicking and going on with the good old boys network, so to speak. And I guess in every industry we deal with that if guys stick around long enough. And it's ruining things right now, to be quite frank. And we'll see if they work it out. But I don't think Saturday they'll say, hey, we're moving forward, we're getting this done, it's done. That's just not going to happen.
Brendon, great stuff, man. Love catching up with you, and can't wait to talk again soon. In the meantime, college football nationally for 24/7 Sports. Follow him on Twitter at the letter B Marcello. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, B.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. Brendon Marsalo. Hey, speaking of Caleb Williams, there's an amazing offer for him to join the MAC. A big one. I'll tell you about that next.
Chirp, chirp.
Cocktail.
This is Blaine Bishop, and as a former professional athlete, I know what it takes to work with the best. Let me tell you about my friends at Master Staff Global Employment Solutions. In Master Staff Employment, they have consultants locally in the market working with actual candidates to handpick the absolute best applicant for your company's job openings. The reason most companies today are having a hard time finding quality candidates is because companies are using a third-party vendor to find resumes instead of actual people. Well, at Master Staff, their team uses the human connection of working with the right person and not just a bullet point on a resume. Master Staff consultants get to know each business personally. They walk the halls, they assess your company's culture, and they use that attention to detail to handpick the right candidates for your company the very first time. So if you are tired of the wasted money you spend on the wrong applicants, then call Master Staff today at 615-223-JOBS. That's 615-223-JOBS or masterstaffemployment.com.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. If you're just joining us, some really good stuff from Brendon Marsalo, college football writer for 24/7 Sports. You will want to go back and check that out on the podcast. Matter of fact, just subscribe, like, review. Give us a real nice review. 5 stars, whatever you got to do. But remember, you can always catch Blaine and Mickey wherever you find all your favorite podcasts. Now, I don't know if you can find $1 million, but this guy, Caleb Williams, the Mac is they got money, apparently. Mac Attack.
They like the Mac Attack, huh?
It is not Chirp Ball State, who you are repping today. It is
but
not.
They didn't get. It's a quarterback, right?
Eastern Michigan. Yeah. So this quarterback. Eastern Michigan.
They have 2 quarterbacks in the portal.
I don't know, but
They said we can let you 2 go. We go get this other guy.
Bye. And we didn't give y'all nothing.
Right. They give him nothing started.
Right. But here you go. Charlie Batch is saying he has.
Charlie Batch,
who was an Eastern Michigan quarterback.
Oh, Charlie Batch is the Pittsburgh Steelers, man.
Yep. He says Oklahoma quarterback Caleb Williams has plenty of options where he can play in 2022. He's in the transfer portal. He may go back, but Charlie Batch, former Lions and Steelers quarterback, tweeted to Williams on behalf of Eastern Michigan on Wednesday. He said he has an NIL deal for him worth $1 million if he commits to play there. $1 million with game above capital. He tweeted at him, hey, and it's his Twitter handle, have you considered Eastern Michigan at EMU football? If not, you should, Batch wrote. Game above capital is prepared to pay you $1 million for 1 year. Are you ready to be an Eagle?
Man, you know what Caleb Williams is saying right now?
Michigan.
Yeah, Ypsilanti, right. Yeah, with a Y, people. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what Caleb's saying? Man, thanks for doing my negotiation. So now I'm getting a $2 million deal from USC. Thank you. Yeah, that's what he said, because he's just not going to do it. He's going to go from Oklahoma to Eastern Michigan? Really? Oh, over the loop. No, he said, I could get me a big name school and go to a school at least at least get the same amount.
In one season, he could probably
even
play.
Oklahoma got it. Well, we'll give you $1 million. Come back.
If I'm looking at him, I'm like, I got $1 million sitting on a table. Here's the thing, dude. He could play on so many Tuesday and Thursday nights. He'd probably get 6 midweek games.
To me, that
showcase
sounds like
talents.
A little desperation there, because Eastern Michigan probably has reached out to him multiple times, and
Wouldn't
he
answer
has
the
not
phone.
responded. And I'm talking about DM'd him, calling him, everything, no nothing. He'd be like, where? I don't even know. I've never even heard of that city.
There's no way he could show you where that campus was on a map.
And basically,
like which half of Michigan
I played in
it's at.
snow just like this it is today in Ypsilanti. Yeah. And by the way, I did not know where that was at until I played there.
Did you bust in those games, or did you fly? Or were you guys
Stop that. We bust. We at Ball State, man.
nowhere? Hey. No fly?
No. All out of Cameroon. We played Clemson.
Like Virginia, Wisconsin,
yeah.
You fly there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we
MAC
all MAC games was a bus, 5 hours or less. That was the limit, because I asked. I said, hey, so which, he said, oh, well, we're going to drive to all the MAC schools. I said, oh, okay. So you're trying to tell me it's like 4.5 hours or less, or 5? He said, well, no, it's 5. Well, he said, after that, we'll fly.
It's like play a football game and just get on a bus for 5 hours.
Yeah.
Feels good, doesn't it?
It is absolutely horrible. And really think that's what really got my nausea or whatever. When you're looking down, I'm trying to do homework while I'm driving the bus. I'm all about managing my time. I got 4 hours of idle time. And if I can't sleep, I got to do something. So you trying to read a book, do some homework. Oh, my God. I used to be so dizzy. I get out of the bus. Oh, man, this bus. Oh, man, I got a headache. They're like, what's wrong with you? Man, I'm just pissed off now. I got a headache from trying to do homework on a bus. Yeah. Hey, man, you appreciate all those times right now. All those guys flying, y'all better quit complaining about flying. Get there in 2 hours.
Yeah, and that was before big TV contract.
Oh, we had no
little
TV
teeny crappy TV contracts that make Sunbelt and MAC schools play on Tuesday and Thursday.
No, we didn't play. I've never played on Tuesday.
Imagine driving to Ypsilanti on a Tuesday and getting home at like 7 o'clock Wednesday morning. It's like,
after
hey,
the
man.
game.
Yeah. Hey man, you got 8 o'clock class, don't you?
Yeah,
okay.
I really had a lot of pride in that I was not going to miss class. And I think I probably missed, because we were leaving for the bus on Fridays. That's why it'd be really hard Tuesday and Thursday for me as a football player to try to change that. But basketball, baseball guys do it all the time.
Sure.
Because they're playing in the middle of the week. I think I might have missed 4 classes because I had to leave early for the game on away games in my career. I think that's the only class I'm in. Besides, there was a time where I touched my window and I couldn't see through it.
Yeah.
And it was cold, and I went out there with a ski mask on, and I walked like 10 steps and said, I'm not going to class. I turned back and went back.
Okay.
So I might have missed class 5 times.
I slid to class on a trapper keeper once on a sheet of ice, and the teacher didn't show up.
Yeah.
I was pissed.
I bet I would have been too.
Hot.
Yeah.
I melted that ice on the way back. My trapper keeper was burning my fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Those things, by the way, fantastic to sled on. Big old thick notebook, plastic
Hey,
coated.
there's a lot of kids out there having a great time today, by the way.
Have a good time, kids.
Sledding and everything else down some hills.
The best when you're a kid.
This is
It's
great,
incredible.
man. This is
The
awesome.
best.
Oh, you know who's having fun too? My man Ziggy, my dog. I
he
took
likes
him
to
out there, the
snow.
old Labradoodle. Oh, he out there running around. It was so bad. I brought him back, and then it was just clumped in his whole body.
Yeah, that's
especially on the legs. And I was like, oh man, we're gonna have to let this melt. So I literally had him just stand over the heater while I was just acting like I was rubbing him and I was gonna get him a treat, so I could get it to where it was manageable. Because if not, he was, we let our dog, he's a small dog, jump on the couch and different stuff. And I'm like, you can't be having a
He's
big
a normal.
old,
I have a small
big
dog.
old-
You have a normal size.
well, medium size. I'd
Medium.
say.
He's medium.
Yeah, I can't be having him jump on the couch and all of a sudden it's a nice little wet spot there because the snow is melting.
Mama's gonna be mad at you.
She was
guys.
like, hey, did something happen over here? Yeah.
Lucas, you got more transfer portal news?
Well, earlier today, former Missouri quarterback Connor Bazelak announced he's headed to the land of Roger Saffold, Nick Westbrook-Akina, and Buck Rising in Indiana. And just now, new Auburn offensive coordinator Austin Davis, who we talked about on this show, taking that job from being the QB coach in Seattle, announced former A&M quarterback Zach Calzada is headed to Auburn. A lot of movement.
Man, within the SEC, man. Don't they have, what was that kid's name? They must going to bench him. He didn't play so well in the bowl game. Finley?
Finley.
Finley, yeah.
Yeah, and he's a transfer from LSU.
Right, that's right.
It's
And they doubled down.
it's free agency, man. It's
that's
like the
not
NBA
good.
now. You just follow your player and see your team, I guess.
Man, did they recruit Finley, though? The new staff there at Auburn? Or was he there before?
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
That sounds like a boo-boo.
We got the Boo Boo Hour 2-2. That's coming up next. Doug Mathews will join us, former UT coach. You know him, our UT expert. Ask him about all this transfer portal stuff. Get his idea on it. That's coming up in about 25 minutes here on Blaine and Mickey.
It is 2:02. Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica. Titans running back Derrick Henry was activated to return to practice while remaining on IR. That opens a 21-day window in which the running back can be elevated to the active roster. He was on the practice field at St. Thomas Sports Park yesterday, but will he play in Houston against the Texans on Sunday? ESPN reporter Diana Rossini joined Buck Rising earlier today on The Zone, and here's what she said.
You know, they really wanted to give him time. So it really makes sense to me that he's most likely not going to play against this Houston Texans team. As important of a game as this is, you know, trying to get home field advantage, trying to get that first round bye.
A win in Houston would clinch that 1 seed in the AFC. It was not pretty, but the Vols got it done in overtime against a shorthanded Ole Miss team on Wednesday, winning 66-60, improving to 10-3 with the first SEC win of the season. Santiago Vescovi with 17 points, 12 of them came in the final 3.5 minutes of regulation plus overtime. Tennessee heads to LSU on Saturday. The Belmont Bruins starting OVC play at the Curb Center tonight. That game's still on against Southeast Missouri, a 7 p.m. tip-off. The Bruins are 10-3. And it's a late puck drop tonight for the Preds on the West Coast, taking on the LA Kings at 9:30. Nashville's 21-11-2 and leaders of the Central Division. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Happy snow day, everybody. It is a winter wonderland right now all around Middle Tennessee. Be safe if you got to do something.
Yes. Stay home if not.
Stay home.
Yeah.
Y'all ever make ice cream out of snow when you were kids? I thought that was the most
cream?
rancid crap.
Or you mean just eat it?
Snow cream, no, where you put like vanilla and sugar in it.
No,
I've never heard
You
of
never
that.
heard of that?
Oh, my
You're
God.
from up north?
No,
Y'all didn't
don't
do that?
act. That's because we get snow. We've
Yeah, you
heard
get
that.
lots of snow. You never ate it?
No.
I mean, we
I've
didn't get
never
that
heard
much.
of,
Lucas grew up in
I've
Alabama,
never heard
for
of
goodness sakes.
I thought you meant like
Snow
just
cream?
eating. Yeah, that's why I said, you just talking about just grabbing something and eating it as a
Yeah,
kid.
I'll do that.
Snow cream. You put like sugar and stuff on it?
I saw somebody.
Wait. You have all this stuff and you bring it out to the snow and then you sprinkle it on there.
No, you scoop up a bowl, like the big
Get a bucket.
metal bowl full of snow, like your mom would mix up a cake in, and you go out. You got to get enough snow to do it. Can't
Right,
do it in
got-
2
got
inches of
enough
snow.
snow
You get
today.
some dirt in there. You go out and get yourself a big thing full of snow. I hated it as a kid.
So
Lonzo
you-
says
so-
I've made it a lot. Here we go.
Oh, okay. So people from the South made it a lot even though they don't get that much snow.
I saw someone call it.
I'm just saying.
Someone called it on Facebook 2 days ago when we had the other snow, poverty ice cream. That's what somebody called it on
I've
Facebook.
never heard of this.
And I
You've
thought,
heard
oh,
of
yeah,
this
I
one?
ate some of that.
You know, by the way, I tried to go get me some Italian cake from Publix.
Italian cream cake. They said they didn't know what you're talking about,
They
right?
did.
That's the wrong Publix. Blaine, dang it, man. You went to wrong Publix.
There's so many Publix I would have eaten. This is the
That was
wrong
the wrong
Publix.
one.
They looked at me like I was crazy.
How
They
did
even
you
went
say
back.
it?
I said, I want some Italian cream cake.
No, it's Italian.
Yeah, I know. I said, well, we
E-Y-E-I.
were joking on the radio, but it's just Italian cream cake. She looked at me. I said, it's kind of like, watch this. Kind of just like saying you want some Mexican tacos. Because she was looking so baffled about Italian cream cake. I was like, oh my God, did I just say something that just scared her or something? She was like, I've never heard it. I'm confused. So she went back in the back and like asked somebody or even looked it up. And she's like, we don't have that, but we have this. It was not Italian cream cake. It was, more like
It's Italian cream
Look-
cake.
look
Italians. My
spongy or
grandmother
something.
called it that.
Yeah, so this ice cream stuff with the snow, a lot of people talk about they got that.
Please call in 615-737-1045.
I've never heard of this.
Tell
And
Blaine what snow cream is. Some
I've
of you
been in
even
10 foot of snow.
you never ate any of it.
No,
That was
I made some
vanilla and sugar.
tunnels, dig it
we don't-
out,
we don't
make
get tunnels,
tunnels, have fun as a kid.
We have to tunnel our way to
naturally
the
we
parking
ate
lot
some
today.
of it too, no
Yeah.
doubt. But no, like scooping it up,
didn't
putting the
make
bucket
ice cream out of it.
and then go mix it up with some stuff.
Yeah, vanilla, sugar.
No, never. I've never even heard of that.
Okay, I hated it, but people.
You
cousin
hated it?
Andrew says it was a staple at my grandparents' house.
Uh-oh.
His own TV show.
Man, I missed out.
All right, y'all got to let Blaine know that this is a real thing.
Yeah,
Snow
yeah.
cream. Somebody help me
Yeah,
out
tweet
here.
me.
Tweet him at bbishop23.
I want to know all the ingredients. I might try it out today.
You don't want to tweet Tyler Barron if you're a Vols fan because this just dropped. He's in the
Ooh,
transfer
man.
portal. The Athletic reporting it.
Whoa.
Matt Fortuna.
Oh, T. Barron? This is interesting.
Top 50 signee from the 2020 recruiting class. This guy reports he had 6.5 TFLs for the VFLs.
Knoxville product, too, went to Knox Catholic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Knox Catholic, but he went to Innsworth initially. Yeah, he went there for a couple years.
Goodness gracious. How many dudes go to Innsworth?
Yeah, he was a pretty good player. Yeah, stud, man. So that's a little surprising. There's a lot of rumors out there earlier in the year, during the bowl time and going up to the bowl and then now. But that's kind of an interesting move. And what's kind of really interesting is we got to ask Dougie Fresh about that because his dad is on staff there in some role or fashion. There at Tennessee. He was there before his son got there, naturally.
Director of player personnel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if he's going to stay there too. Or does it have anything to do with anything?
Maybe they both wind up at the same place, you think, maybe?
Ooh. Oh, I have no idea.
We don't know. This just dropped.
I have no idea.
But
good kid, good player. He had some injury issues this season, though. He was in and out of the lineup. He even got hurt at the Rose Bowl. Not the Rose Bowl, Music City Bowl, and came back in. But that has nothing to do with his decision. I think Tennessee loved him. I'm kind of shocked. So the rumors must have been true.
Let's see how.
Man, he's a big time player. He was a good big time get for the Vols.
A 4-star prospect.
Mm-hmm.
He is 6'5", 260.
Mm-hmm.
So he's full sized.
Real good player, good person. Man, he's a Tennessee guy. So you're letting a good, solid player get away.
So freshman year, the Vols website, one of the top defensive reserves on the squad, played in all 10 games but didn't start, played 250 snaps, had 21 tackles, 3 TFL, 1 sack, and then this year as a sophomore, it's got it all kind of broken down differently here, but did start a game. Made one start. So it looks like started most of the games. Talented edge rusher. He said one of their top pass rushers, 6.5 tackles for loss. As Lucas said, a 4-star prospect who enrolled at Tennessee has played in 22 games, made 4 starts in his career.
He returned the no-call forward progress fumble against Ole Miss where they just ripped it away from Matt Corral for a touchdown.
They still haven't made a call on the field about that play, have they?
No,
they never called anything. Blown. He could still be standing in the end zone.
He's still going, yeah.
Tyler
Barron.
Well, we do have, as Blaine said, Doug Mathews is going to join us next, so we'll just start off with that one. We do have a call from Josh in Bowling Green, though, who wanted to talk about snow cream, and it's a snowy day. So, Josh, let Blaine know, please. I'm not crazy that people do that. Well, have we got you? Josh, you there? Okay, here, let's do it now, Josh. We got you. What's going on?
All right, yes, Blaine, you got to try this, man, because it's delicious.
Please.
You got to get the fluffy snow, of course. No yellow snow, nothing like that. Then you get the milk, a little vanilla, and a little sugar. And when we was kids, we even got to use the food coloring so you can make different colors and stuff, make it fun, But it's really good.
Oh, I'm going to try it out then.
Milk was the thing that I forgot because that changes it from like ice to, ice cream. Josh, thank you, man.
Oh, man. I'm not real big on the dairy, but.
Well, you can use almond milk.
Yeah. Okay. I do have some
soy
almond milk.
You do? Almond milk. Well, there you go. It'd be nutty.
There you go, man. Boy,
your nut milk.
You crack yourself up when you say something. Yeah. There you go.
Do you like that stuff or are you just anti-dairy?
Yeah.
Like, do you drink it and go, boy, this is delicious?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Nobody does, do they?
It makes my stomach feel better.
Okay.
I got it. You think your stomach is sensitive. Certain things could really ignite my tummy.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
I want you to eat the hottest bag of potato chips you can find at every gas station we've ever been
that's
to.
because it's conditioned to that.
Okay.
But it's not, I used to grow up eating cereal almost every day, and now I hardly ever do. And then when I go in there and try to, whoa. What was that?
Bubbles.
No, volcano. This is not good. I gotta go to the restroom.
That happened to my daughter. You show her a piece of cheese and she'll go to the bathroom immediately. Like just show her a picture of cheese and she's like, oh no. Sorry if you're listening, baby.
Yeah. So yeah, man, tough times there, man.
I
With
can't.
certain milk, man. I gotta make sure I got to.
Somebody said, like, hey, man, here's the almond milk ice cream. I'd rather you just punch me in the face.
Oh, I did not like it at first, and man, you just gotta get used to whatever works.
Gary in the borough.
Oh, people were saying this is legit, man. People are all over the place.
Good.
Homemade
Blow him
snowman,
up.
Aaron Solomon, legit, done right now. It's over. I'm doing it right now. This was actually a text to me.
Fluffy snow, though, is the key.
Fluffy snow.
Gary in the borough. Let's squeeze in one
Not
quick.
the snow where the dog went and peed on
As
it.
they said, yellow. Don't avoid that. Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline opened up. Gary in the borough wanted a quick football question, right, Gary? What's going on?
Oh, yeah, we would do good.
No, it really wasn't a question. I just wanted to call and say hey and say you guys do a great job. I enjoy listening to you. And maybe one of these days, Mickey will get to meet. We've texted back and forth, but I'm from Jonesboro.
Yeah.
And so anyway, maybe we'll get to hook up one of these days and talk football. But anyway, you guys do a great job. I enjoy listening to you. Excited about the playoffs and the King coming back.
Hey, Gary,
And,
Gary, before you get too much deeper into football, have you ever had snow cream?
Let's get to priorities
Absolutely
right now,
have.
man.
Absolutely, he says.
Absolutely. Many times growing up. Yeah, every year. Used to when I was a kid, we'd make it. Yeah. I always enjoyed it. I kind of missed that. Maybe I need to do it again.
Hey, today's
Man,
your
I
day, brother.
missed
Look
out,
out the
man.
window. It's a winter wonderland.
It is. I'm out in it, actually, and it's just pulled two different people out of the ditch, actually.
Oh,
Good Samaritan.
Yeah, thanks, man. Hey, speaking of that, do you have a number or a website to get, or are you just doing it for people or friends?
No, I just taken my daughter to her boyfriend's house so they could play out in the snow together, and on the way back, I just saw people in the ditch and pulled over and hooked the winch to them and pulled them out. So
You know the guy from
All right,
Jonesboro has got the vehicle that will pull
just
people
make sure
out.
you leave your number before you hang up with Lucas. Just in case I need you, man. Then we can make a snow cone, man.
yeah, Blaine, you need some help getting home.
Yeah, I may need some help, man.
Gary, thank you for the call, man.
Seriously.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
Thank you, man.
That's
for calling
back-to-back
in.
Jonesboro callers. Back-to-back days. How about that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Jonesboro taking this beast over.
Yeah. Oh my. Hey,
Watch
man,
out.
They followed Mickey. That's what happened. They followed you.
All right, Lucas
Yeah.
says we got to take a break. Last segment, you got anything you want to talk about, we'll take phone calls, but we do have Doug Mathews set to join us next. We'll get into this Tyler Barron news in the transfer portal just coming down the pipeline. We'll talk about that more next. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Coach Doug Mathews is going to join us in just one second, but Eric from Cross Plains has checked in on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Quick weather update, Eric. We appreciate it, man. What's going on? What you got?
Well, we're out here in the middle of a field right now. There's nothing coming north or southbound at the moment. But, man, we are catching some killer donuts out here right now.
Oh, my.
Woo! There you go.
Oh, man,
All
that might
right.
have been somebody I drove by was out there doing some killer donuts.
I had a guy in Escalade do some donuts around me on
Man.
I-65 this morning going around me.
They must have talked to Isaiah Wilson.
We got Doug. Doug Mathews joins us now, courtesy of the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Doug, it's interesting. In the last 10 minutes or so, there have been a couple of names who've dropped into the transfer portal. That news just breaking. Tyler Barron, and then I saw D. Beckwith as well. So, hello, Happy New Year, and it looks like the portal is parked in the parking lot there in Knoxville this morning.
Well, I don't think there's any surprise about Beckwith. He really, I don't know, did he even play in a game this year? Maybe one or two. He'll be was his second year. I don't think there were a lot of plans for him there at running back. Don't believe that he wanted to move to another position. Tyler Barron is a little bit of a surprise. I did not know that. Didn't know. Matter of fact, you just told it to me right now. Have to kind of maybe check up on that a little bit. Of course, he's from originally here in Nashville, Brentwood Academy. Then went up and played at Knox Catholic. His father was on the staff there for a while and still associated with the athletic department in some facet, I think. But
Is he?
good player.
That no doubt about it. That's why I was curious because I'm getting a lot of texts saying that Abernathy is no longer on their staff, but I don't know if that's true or not because he's still on the website.
Yeah, I don't. I was told at the bowl game practice that he wasn't there. He wasn't on the staff, and I wasn't told this, but I was kind of had the thought, at least from the way it was mentioned to me, that he was still with the university. But again, I'm not exactly sure on that. But Barron's a good player, very good player. Mm-hmm. He's played. I don't know. He probably started, or at least played in probably 20, 25 ball games. Good player, good pass rusher, strong defensive end, athletic. He would be one I would certainly think they would not want to lose.
Man, that's a huge blow. He went to BA in middle school. He went to Innsworth for high school for the first 2 years, then transferred to Knoxville Catholic.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly right. Of course, his dad was at Brentwood Academy for years and years, and then went up to the University of Tennessee. I think he went up with Bush Jones, I believe.
The D Beckwith thing, Doug, is interesting just because people look at Derrick Henry and they go, "Oh, he's a really tall running back, so maybe Beckwith." Derrick Henry's like 6'3". D. Beckwith's listed as 6'5". That just always seemed like an interesting thing that this guy's a running back at 6'5". The only person I can really think of who's a wide receiver that plays running back is Cordero Patterson, who's kind of found a slash type home in the NFL. He's not 6'5", right? No, 6'3", 6'4".
Moved a tight end, a defensive end, maybe. I don't know how many 6'5" running backs you know there, Coach.
I never seen one. Have you, Coach?
No, hadn't coached one. Patterson actually came to Tennessee though out of junior college as a wide. He was kind of a wide. Well, he was a wide receiver, and I think the first time he really played much running back at all was with the Patriots when he was with them a year.
Yeah.
But, the thing about Beckwith is, don't know the young man, but if you remember back to his recruitment, he played down at Florence. I played for Will Hester, as a matter of fact, who's at Ravenwood now.
Yeah.
If you remember, he came to Tennessee and he was going to be a football and basketball player. I don't know that that's ever worked out in the last 40 years of college football and basketball. It's difficult to do both. So, but he really never ever even came close to playing. His first year, he played a little bit in the Vanderbilt game, that last game of the year. And again, I don't know that he if he carried the ball at all this year, I can't recall it. And it wasn't many. I know that if he carried any at all.
Doug Mathews, our guest, courtesy of the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. I'm sure today they would tell you just drive slow on the ice, but the other thing they would tell you is if you're planning to drink, then don't plan to drive. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk. They bring you Coach Mathews right here every week on Blaine and Mickey.
Well, Coach, I was off during the Music City Bowl. I don't know if you guys got a chance to talk about that, but what was kind of give us a summary of what you thought about that game against Purdue and them, and as well as the last call. But not only that, other calls throughout the game I thought that were kind of missed, not by referees, but even Hype I thought could have made some different calls as well, or maybe even punted on occasion.
Well, of course, that was on a Thursday, so I wasn't on that day.
Okay.
I mentioned on Big Orange Sunday, and again, my evaluation of it after looking at it and rewatching it, Purdue outplayed Tennessee. They outcoached them. They outplayed them offensively, and they outplayed them defensively. Certainly deserved to win. Defensively, Tennessee had three turnovers, which, normally if you get 3 turnovers, you're probably going to have a great chance to win. And Tennessee did have a chance to win. But overall, defensively, just did not play very sound. I thought they always play hard, but, out of position some. Got hurt at the cornerback positions, both cornerback positions, but particularly at the right cornerback position, Burrell's position.
Yeah.
Alante Taylor was not playing in the ball game, but I thought Haddon come in, played pretty well in his position there. But it was, I thought undermanned going into the game, and felt like it. Certainly the first quarter, Purdue team just played much better than Tennessee did, and you got to give them credit for that. But Tennessee, again, I don't think any phase of the game they played nearly as well as they could.
Man, they got off to just a fast start. And you mentioned the cornerback position. Man, I was a little surprised Warren Burrell was having issues there with the pass interference. It was 4 of them, so I could say 2 of them for sure were, I guess, good calls, and then the other 2 were kind of up to debate, but they made the calls. Him and then the young freshman there, Rucker, both were having issues on deep balls. Man, do you think they're going to be in the portal for or maybe 2 cornerbacks?
I think they might. They signed a junior college youngster. I think his name's William. That I've watched play on tape. He looks really, really good to me. He's a ball hawk. Blaine, the thing about it that was disappointing to me as an old secondary player and a secondary coach with Burrell was you go into every game knowing when you play on defense, I think really at any level of football now, but particularly college and pros, the advantage goes to the offensive player. If you go in there thinking you're going to get some offensive interference calls, you're probably setting yourself up. And the thing about the thing that you cannot do, and you know this better than anyone, you simply can't grab a jersey. When you grab a jersey, unless she's right in front of you, and don't let go of it quickly, that's going to get called every single time. But the most disappointing thing to me about Burrell is when that last one where they kind of got a little shoving, which happens, and then he wasn't physical enough and fell down and just gave him a cheap touchdown. You certainly can't have that. But, playing that position, going in, number one, you're going to play a lot of bump man coverage, press man coverage. You're going to have a lot of one-on-one. They're going to attack you deep. They're going to throw back shoulder. You're going to have to fight for every time a ball gets in the air. And I don't think Burrell did a very good job of that. Now, I thought Haddon, the touchdown over him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, number 13. The touchdown over him, that was a great throw and a great catch. He was in great position fighting. He just got beat on that one, but which is going to happen some. But that was the difference in the ball game, I thought. One of the big differences.
No doubt about it. We're on with the Coach Doug Mathews, and I really want to get your assessment of Jeremy Banks there at the linebacker position, because there are times I feel like, man, he's really good. Then there's other times in coverage he looks maybe just a step behind, or a little. Here's what happens to me when I see him. A little too aggressive in coverage, and then puts him in a bad position. So he doesn't understand when you're covering, you have to be more of a technician. When you're attacking, then you can be the attack linebacker that you need to be, because when he's blitzing or attacking the run game, he looks fantastic. But when he's out in the open field and he has to cover someone man to man, I think there's kind of some form of panic there. I'd love to hear your assessment of him.
Well, I think that's spot on in the passing game. The thing that I really like this young man as a player. He's had some problems off the field, but I've been around and coached a lot and played with several guys that had a few problems off the field that were outstanding players for us. But running game, I think he's excellent. Physical, he's a lot bigger when you stand next to him than he looks. He's a physical young man, and he's learned how to play the running game. He attacks. He chases the ball. But he, and I would say this of all of our linebacker positions, they simply do not play zone coverage very well at all. Pretty good man, but when you're a linebacker, if you get matched up man against a good running back, the advantage is going to go to him. But I think your analysis there is spot on. Running game, he is excellent. He can go from sideline to sideline. He's got really good at hitting those gaps and shooting them, not getting caught up in the wash in there. But passing game, our whole, I would put every one of our linebackers. I think we're below average in particularly in zone coverage in the passing game at linebacker.
No doubt. We're on with the coach, Doug Mathews, giving us the 411 on Tennessee football.
Coach, what's the latest? I think the early signing day happens, and most people, maybe the diehard recruiting fans, kind of keep their ear to the ground of what's going on. But Tennessee, I guess, still out there trying to find the last few guys in this 2022 class.
Yeah, they signed 19 high school players. They had one transfer tackle from Florida come in out of the transfer portal, a young man named Mincy. And then they had the junior college player come in, and I believe he's an early enrollee. Well, both those young men are early enrollees, I think. They're I think they're spending most of their time now, though, on recruiting for the 2023 class and then transfer portal. I think they'll probably end up taking, when it's all said and done, probably a total of about 5 from the transfer portal. Linebacker has to be one of those, I think. Probably most of them will be on the defensive side of the ball. And then if there's an outstanding player out there, wide receiver, Peyton is a great example. He was on the transfer portal, young man from Hillsboro that transferred in and had 1 year left, and he was a big time player. I think he got 5-6 touchdowns this year, and it could take the top off of the coverage. So I think right now they're looking at the transfer portal for maybe 5 more total. And of course, I'm sure they're in on a couple of more high school players. And then, when it's all said and done, I think they'll probably end up with maybe 25, 26, 27 players. Remember, you can get, you have to be able to fit it under your 25, but for every player you lose to the transfer portal, you can bring another one in up to 7. Now, again, you have to stay under the 85, not the 25. Right. You can get 7 additional scholarships on that. So that's kind of still up in the air. But pretty much they're recruiting in the bowl game in particular here in Middle Tennessee. They're recruiting really now zeroing in on those 2023 prospects.
Now, I don't know if they've got the resources to do this at a place like Arkansas State, but are the big schools now, are they like NFL rooms where they've got pro personnel and they've got college personnel guys who are evaluating? So do big college teams now, Coach, are they evaluating, do they have staff dedicated to, scouting transfer portal guys wherever, they have their regular recruiting staff scouting high school guys? How are they dividing up those responsibilities?
Just almost exactly like you said, Mickey. Now, the difference is, of course, in college, and I think this eventually will change, quite frankly. But in college, your 10 assistant coaches are the only ones that can go out and recruit. So you have to be both an assistant coach, coaching on the field, and out on the road recruiting. Not like the pros; they have completely separate, recruiting staff, scouts, and their coaches really don't go out in pro ball. They go out and evaluate every now and then, but that's not their basic job. Their basic job is to coach football. But I think you're going to get to that. We're going to get to that quickly in college football. As far as the analyst part of it, colleges now have more analysts than pros do. Now they don't quite structure them the same way. But to answer your question, absolutely, every staff, and Tennessee included, has a staff of 2 to 3 young men or men, and probably some women in there also, that their job is strictly the transfer portal, knowing who's going to come on. You can kind of tell. Even we and people listen to this show, you can watch and see a pretty good idea who's going to be moving on and who's not going to be moving on. And that's their job, and to kind of evaluate that. And when one jumps in there, to have all the video and everything ready to go, whoever is, just like, let's just take Barron right now. I'm sure other athletic departments had already had tape on him, probably feeling that he might jump in that portal. So that's all set up. They probably already watched it. They probably already given him a grade on that. So, but yes, it is. It's much, much, much more like pro football in many different respects now, but especially when it's in that scouting and in college and recruiting room, very much so.
Coach Doug Mathews, our guest. Football Saturday, Big Orange Sunday, right here on the Zone.
Well, Coach, they got Hendon Hooker and Tillman coming back.
Yep.
I know some other guys are coming back too, but man, where's the Heisman training going? When is that going to start with Hooker? If he can just, do what he did this year and maybe a little bit more, if he starts a couple more games, he's got to be in that kind of conversation, let alone all SEC.
Blaine, I think he ended up, I don't have it in front of me right now, but I think he ended up with 30 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions. So essentially a 10-to-1 ratio. That is off the charts. Anybody anywhere would take that. Big getting him back. Big getting Tillman back. Tennessee has 11 players that are coming back that could, and I'm not talking about from the portal standpoint, that could have left. Some of them are COVID seniors that are coming back. Some of them probably could have gone into the draft, or could have just given up football because they've already played 4 years. But with that COVID year, they could come back, and those are big pluses. Quite frankly, it's one reason why they're not jumping in the transfer portal as heavily as they probably would have if some of those players would have left. Guys like Bumpus, both are kickers. Brooks and McGrath are coming back. They've all these guys have graduated, and they could have left. So that's a big plus on that. Hooker is he's a fun guy for me to watch, because he's one of those guys that it's kind of like some of the basketball players I used to watch. You say, boy, they played okay. Well, and they had 30 points. But they're just so he moves so well. He's got a great knack. He's not a power runner at all, but he's got a great knack of knowing when to run, when to pull the ball down. You watch him when he gets near a 1st and 10. There's not, even though we can see it on the football field, there's on the TV, there's not a line that tells him when he needs to get down, when he needs to run. And he's a great leader for them. That was a big get. Tillman was too. I'll be doing a little something on Sunday's show about, there's always a player or two who has been around a while. I call it the Chris White Award. And just outperforms what any coach thought he would do. Tillman's that guy. What did he catch? 8 or 9 passes the year before? Man, this year he was a machine out there. He's big. He's physical. He doesn't have great speed, but he has good enough speed. He's an excellent combat catcher. He's a good blocker out on the corner on the little bubble screens out there, and getting those 2 guys back is big. I'll say this, and I'm not particularly talking about talent and production, but I don't think there's another team in the conference that has a quarterback and receiver coming back that have had the output that those 2 guys did.
For you,
Coach, great stuff. Again, people can catch you Football Saturday on the Zone, Big Orange Sunday, and always right here on Blaine and Mickey, courtesy of the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Enjoy the snow day, Coach. Be safe out there.
Will do. Thanks. Same to you all. Happy New Year, I should say.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you. Merry everything, Coach Doug Mathews. All right, time for us to get out of here. One more segment when we come back. William in Nashville has a question. We'll go to the phones when we come back. Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Hit us up with whatever you got, 615-737-1045. Blaine and Mickey 1045, The Zone. Hitman out shaking snow off his car in the break. He's all frosty from his time outside. William in Nashville was kind enough to hold through the break. He's got a question for us. William, thank you for your patience on this Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Thank you for calling.
Hello, how are you guys doing? My question is, if you guys could change the pass interference call, would you change it and to what? Because I think it's assuming too much that the receiver would catch the ball if he wasn't interfered with. What do you guys comment?
Changing pass inter. Are you talking about for the NFL or college, William?
NFL.
Oh, NFL. Okay.
Oh, that's my biggest beef there. It should just be a 15-yard penalty, not a spot foul. I don't know if that's what you're referring to or you're talking about this the rule in general.
Should it be reviewable pass interference? Because remember, they were going to do that a couple of years ago, and they said, we're going to review it, but they never overruled it one time, even if it was obvious.
It's a judgment call. So
right.
Only thing I can say, especially in the college one, is you got to teach your kids to hold low at the waist, not up high. That's what Warren Burrell kept doing.
Right.
Because I didn't really think some of them were justified.
Boy, they got called for every one of them. If a dude looked at a dude, it's like.
Yeah, but he was up there with his hands on his back. I mean, can't do it. Got to hold it low inside.
It's cheat codes, right?
It's a cheat code, man. You need help, with the video games, I help you. Contrarian would be bizzle for shizzle.
So you like the 15-yard rule for college, not the spot foul for the NFL.
You're literally, people run into you, and then it's a penalty.
That's 60% of what the Colts do on offense is throw not deep enough and let you run into T.Y. Hilton and get a penalty.
That wasn't the intent of the rule.
Right. But people, it's just like NASCAR. People are like, oh, that's the rule? Oh, okay, then we'll just do this around the rule.
Every time.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't winning. But I'm telling you.
Got to find ways around the rule if they don't change it.
But they're running into the guy. To me, one of the things has got to be, the other thing's got to be addressed. We can ask Doug about this next week, Doug Mathews. I forgot to ask him. The flopping. Because that was a big part of the Music City Bowl was more flopping. Purdue flopped. Guys kept just getting a cramp or something. A lot of cramps.
I don't know what they're going to do about that rule. I have no idea. If I'm a defense coordinator, rest assured that some dude's going to be cramping.
Oh, sure.
Playing Tennessee's team?
100% I'm a cramp.
You mess up, the rhythm and flow is all messed up. Once they do like 2 or 3 plays in a row and they feeling it, you better stop them. Just cramp. I don't know what they're going to do with the rule. Maybe they're going to say the guy has to stay out the rest of the series or till another first down. I don't know.
But and because we talked about this before, because that was a great. Okay, then you can't play the rest of this series. But here's the thing: who's watching it? You gonna have an official just to write down? Okay, 72 cramped, and he's gonna then watch. You don't have enough officials to watch that too. I mean,
yeah, these guys are slick too. They haven't changed the jersey number.
Oh, sure.
Within the down.
I don't.
You know what's funny?
I don't know how you enforce
the worst thing is the training staff is bought in. When they run onto the field, they up there checking the leg and knee. And, oh, man, come on.
You think they're like, okay, hold it for just a second longer. Hey, I'm going to raise up your bend your leg like it won't bend.
Hey, they sold me on a couple. I said, I think he's really hurt. And then he goes, no, he's back in the game next play. I was like, they got me. They duped me.
Well, that's one of those things that's tough. It's going to take you almost need that eye in the sky. I think there needs to be, we talked about this before, that like teams need a common sense coach. Like Mike Vrabel needs, Mike Vrabel's common sense meter's been pretty off the charts recently. But like every coach needs a coach next to him to be like, no, man, we ain't doing that. Think about it. Actually, I thought about it. We're not doing that. They're rocking their heads like, cancel. Common sense coach overrule.
Oh, I could be common sense. How much they make?
I don't know. You could name your price. You'd be the first one. But I think there needs to be like the eye in the sky where if they just blatantly miss something, I mean, every game is on TV now. Every pro football game is on TV. Every college game for literally any Division I team is at least on the internet. So there's cameras at every game. You have video and camera angles. Just if they blatantly miss something, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a judgment call or whatever, but if they just miss something like sometimes they do, there's cameras and there's high def at every game. There should be somebody who'd be like, nope, not doing it. That ball crossed the goal line. Nope. His foot was out. No, whatever. There should be just a common sense eye in the sky that can just go, this is blatantly, y'all missed it. The whole world can see it. No, we're fixing that. I don't think it would ever happen. Makes too much sense.
They're going to follow the rules. That's what the letter of the law of the rule says.
And the more I think about it, like
happens.
if you watch, I watch a lot of Cardinals baseball, and they can challenge, like a play at second base. So everybody just kind of stands around and waits for them to challenge the player. If it's like the third out of an inning, they're like, let's go to, hold on, they're going to challenge. Let's just wait. We'll wait through the challenge. And everybody just kind of sits around. It's not great for momentum, but they have gotten some calls right. They did in the past. They just blatantly missed one. I can think of who was the guy? It was a guy who missed a no-hitter because the umpire just missed the call in the last play of the game. Guy for the Tigers was kind of a journeyman pitcher, and his foot beat the runner's foot by 6 inches, and the umpire called him safe, and he lost his no-hitter.
Didn't he get a car out of that?
He probably got all kinds of
he got a bunch of stuff.
And the next day, he brought out the lineup card. The umpire cried. And the umpire's name was Jim Joyce, I think.
Yeah, they presented an award together at the ESPYs.
Yes,
the following
sportsmanship.
year. It was a big thing.
And that guy's a personal trainer now. His story's been told a lot. It's Andres something was his anyway.
Good edits.
But if there had been an eye in the sky, they would have been like, no, dude, no, that's out. Call it out. Let's move on.
What you guys are talking about, it just happened in the NBA just a couple days ago, where somebody missed a free throw, and then the kid jumped up to catch it. The adult there at NBA.
Adult, sure.
And he didn't touch the ball, and they started the clock. And then it was the letter of the law that they were supposed to start the clock, but they're not supposed to until the ball is touched by someone.
Right.
Yep. It cost them.
Come on.
The coach was livid.
I'm livid.
Yeah.
Only got 82 of those games to get that right. All right, we got to go.
We only had 2 hours.
We only get 2 hours to get it right. I think we got it wrong again today, but we got to go. We'll see you tomorrow. 3HL's next. Hey, be safe in the snow. And as always, you know it. Peace.